our steering fluid, so we're gonna turn around. All right, guys, today is a very exciting day. So, as most of you know, if you don't know, we've been working on this Subaru GC8. We call it Miss Jackson, that's its name, because we're always missing parts. We're always waiting on something. There's always some part that didn't come in time or came in and was wrong, etc. It's been the theme of this build and nothing has changed. So it's a 98 Impreza GC8 with a 03 WRX swap. I bought this car in disarray. I ended up thinking I was just gonna tinker with it. I had to take the whole car apart, rewire it, refresh the engine, all that stuff. So we've got everything else done. We've got the freaking AC working even. You know, we have done everything else, but we don't have an exhaust. We just got open turbo. So that's been really limiting us from driving it around. Your hot exhaust gas will melt wires and really mess stuff up. We've only been able to putz it around the yard and idle it for, you know, a minute or two here or there. So that's like the exhaust has been this major thing that I've been waiting on doing. And originally I bought this V-band adapter. That wasn't coming in time. So then I ordered a bell mouth to use. And that came in pretty early, ready to make the exhaust. Wrong bolt pattern. So as much as I wanted to build the entire exhaust myself, ended up buying a complete downpipe. So we have this NVIDIA catless bell mouth downpipe. My goal was to find basically just this piece and build off of this, but I couldn't find it. And if I could, it was like shipping from China. I wasn't gonna get it in time. So this was the easiest, fastest, and then cost-wise, pretty much the same option. So we're gonna build from this back. So we're gonna chop this 2-bolt flange off. We're gonna weld a V-band off. We've got straight exhaust pieces. We got squirrely 180 45 guys, 90s 45s, V-bands, hangers. We've got a new rear O2. We got exhaust studs for the turbo. I mean, we have everything we need to build the exhaust for this car. Before we can get started though, we need to run to the store, get some argon. Oh, new argon. All right, we got our full tank of argon hooked up, which is a nice feeling. We've been low on argon for a while, and it starts getting kind of weird when you get towards the bottom of the bottle. So glad we got that done. So I'm just really hoping that my dreams, that my heart is not crushed by this not being right like the last 2 attempts. So really, fingers crossed, hoping it fits. There's no interferences, but I mean, at least it should get us most of the way there. So let's lift this thing up and see what happens. Moment of truth. Wish me luck. Hell yeah. Definitely fits. Like, pretty much exactly as it should. Get a nut on it so it doesn't fall off on our faces. The exhaust studs I ordered, however, are not correct. To order new ones. But yes! It fits. It ships. Check it out. That's it, like up like it should be. Might be able to actually mount that to something, but sweet, sweet, it fits. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just pull it out and weld a V-band on it so we can just start building off of that V-band out the rest of the way. It should be honestly kind of easy, because it'll probably go about straight through there, go through that heat shield pocket, and then we gotta kind of like cook it down, over and out. All right, let's pull it back off. This is the point of no return. Cutting the flange off $200 downpipe. We just gotta make sure to get the cut as straight as possible. All right, we got it set evenly. It's time to tack. All right, we got our V-band tacked on. So now we're gonna fit it back up and kind of see what we need to do from this side of the V-band on. I'm thinking it'll probably be straight or mostly straight, but we need to get it up there, test it out, tack that, test that, then we'll see where we're at. Okay, so this kind of touches the trans mount, which is meh, but we can make that work. And then it tilts up pretty aggressively. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, you can see better from back here. So we basically need to, from here, tilt down. So I think what I'm gonna do is take a straight piece, cut it at about a 10-degree angle, go down, and then kick it back straight. And then we'll basically run back here, maybe kick it over. There's our hanger. I want to keep it nice and high so we don't have to worry about it dragging on the ground. I mean, I guess this is our low point anyway, so I guess we don't have to go that crazy with keeping it high, but yeah, okay. So we'll try to get our kick down and just kind of see where we're at with that and see how far back we want to come with it, and then basically where we're gonna straighten out, because that'll determine how low it ends up. This is kind of fun because this is my first exhaust fab project, so I basically have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm just trying to figure it out along the way. So it should be pretty fun. It should be interesting. I don't know. I like fab work. I like fab projects the most. You know, bolting parts on a car and stuff is satisfying, and different projects are more and less satisfying. But to me, like, fab projects take the cake because you're creating something and you're coming up with it on your own and making it fit exactly how you want it to the best of your abilities. Which for me, it's going to be the best of my abilities, not exactly how I want. Anyway, first off, let's cut this at 10 degrees and see what it's like. All right, it looks like that's gonna work. We need to mark where we're gonna come back up. Now we need to cut it straight. All right, so we're gonna tack this thing to the V-band, this piece, and then we'll come up with our second piece. All right, our V-band, we've already ground down and cleaned up. We need to grind and clean this edge up and just scuff up the surface to give us a nice, bright, shiny metal to weld to. And then we will try to tack it up. The difficult part of this is just going to be, really with stuff like this, I might have to start doing this further on in the project. Like, really you should be tacking it in the car. It's just very difficult to tack something in the car that you have to hold up with TIG welding because you need two hands. So yeah, we're gonna try to do it out of the car. Hopefully we don't screw it up. I'm not going crazy with the tacks on this because, you know, just in case we need to cut them off. So we're gonna go test fit it before we go and tack like every inch. No, idiot. I literally marked the female side of the V-band so that I wouldn't mess it up when I tacked this on, and I tacked the wrong side on because I didn't even look. All right, well, I already screwed up. So there is a male, as you can see with that lip, and a female side of the V-band. So I literally put a Sharpie mark on this one. This one was already ground on the face, and I still managed to tack the wrong one on. So we gotta cut the tacks, knock it off, do the same thing with this one. Then we can test fit. Amateur fabricator problems. It's a thing. Beautiful. It's almost a little too aggressive. Oh, much. All right, so I dropped it, broke the flange off, broke the tacks. Kind of worked out because I kind of wanted to break it off and re-weld it because I went a little too aggressive on how much angle I gave it. So now it is perfect. It is much tighter. Literally, like, ended up right where it should be. So we're gonna add a bunch of tacks to this. Move on to the next piece. Dang it! Almost caught him singing. I was about to just start filming, and then I heard you singing, and I was gonna try to get you.
He's over here ripping apart a Miata, and your boy harassing.
All right, so we got this one bolted up. Everything fits good. It fits nice. This next transition is going to be a little difficult though, because we need to come over just a little bit and then kind of like, I guess we don't really need to go up anymore. We can just cook it over a little and come straight back at this height. So maybe that's what we'll do. I was thinking I had to go over and up, which would be tricky, but if we just need to go over and go straight, that shouldn't be bad. But we'll go probably be able to almost straight shot all the way back here, and then probably have to kick it down and then over. Again, I don't know what I'm doing, so learning as I go. All right, so I'm thinking about a 10, not even 10 degree, like I guess I can't do between 10 and 5. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna do 5 to start, 5 degree cut. I think that'll be perfect. It's a pretty narrow spot that we got to go through by the diff to keep it nice and tucked up high. So I'm going to try 5 first because I can always cut more of an angle on it. So. Okay, so we do need to go up a little bit. All right, we got the orientation figured out. We've got 3 timing marks, and I numbered them so I wouldn't mix up which one was which. So now we're gonna tack it together, test fit again. Check out the tack setup. We got 2 magnets, we got an up spacer. The magnets obviously don't work on stainless, but they're just keeping it from sliding. And one at the back, so when I push against it, it doesn't slide. So now we're gonna try to tack it. All right guys, check this out. It actually fits incredibly well. I figured this is either gonna go horribly wrong or right. Look at that, mint. So now we just need to make our exhaust hanger, which is gonna be like dead on the side. You know, it's using an angle to go up the other angle, I don't know. Anyway, happy it fits. Definitely next step would be to make the exhaust hanger so we can have it hanging and then do the rest. I think I'm gonna get Ben out here to help me do that and then keep working. So the rubber hanger is like right next to the exhaust. And with this bin, this is actually pretty nice. I got 2 of these on eBay for I think 10 or 20 bucks for the pair. They're pretty solid. But anyway, basically I'm gonna cut it here and cut it right at the end of the bend and just shorten it up so that it's basically as close to the pipe as it can be for the hanger. So I'm gonna do that now. All right, so first step is cutting the hanger down. Like I said, we're just cutting, you know, maybe an inch out of it, maybe less. It's very thick, so it takes a bit to cut through with the bandsaw. Normally on time lapses, it just flies right through, but not this time. So then we get them both cleaned up and ready to tack. So then we figure out how to get them tacked. It's kind of difficult to get it in a good position to tack it straight, but once we tack it, we weld it. And also kind of weird just because of the long end, like trying to position it to where I can weld all the way around it, but we get it done, not a problem at all. So now we put the piece that we made in, the 2 pieces combined, I guess, get it oriented the way we want it, and then start working on getting the hanger on. So it's really tricky to tack stuff on a car if you're by yourself, because you need 1 hand for the torch and 1 hand for the rod. So I tacked it on a little crooked, I cut it off, we tack it again. But yeah, definitely tricky tacking on the car, but really useful. Well, it's already getting dark. We got a late start, but we did get a decent bit done. Really happy with the fit up. We got our hanger there. This little section, very nice and tight. So tomorrow we'll just have to go the rest of the way out, which shouldn't be too bad. Should honestly probably be like a 45, like straight, and then 45 over, and then 45 out. Something interesting, I keep wanting to do things that like a normal exhaust is. So it's like, okay, I need to put a V-band before the end. And then I'm like, when you're making your own, that you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to do it the exact way an aftermarket exhaust company would do it. You can do it however you want, which is really cool. And it's just fun. It's just fun, man. I love fabricating. I'm already like got a huge smile on my face just from getting that far, getting like 2 pieces, you know, in a hanger. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the morning. We'll finish this up. All right, we are getting back to work on Miss Jackson's exhaust. I was debating on trying to tuck this thing up further in here, but I'm gonna have to bring it right back down to go under this axle. So just gonna leave it. It's really not much lower than the diff, and it's about as good as it can get. Also, there's bolts missing here. I'm gonna find some and put them in before I forget. I don't know why those aren't there. But anyway, I'm thinking next will just be pretty much a straight piece. I might cock it over degrees just to kind of push it over this way because it's a little bit offset, because if I push it over anymore, it was hitting the body of the car here. So just a tiny tink over. This is fun. I enjoy this. So the first thing we need to figure out is our straight piece that's going to go over just a little bit. So we try to clamp it to the miter gauge. It doesn't work. We just do it by hand because the C-clamp wasn't working. We clean it up and then get it into place, and then we try to tack it ourselves. And again, you need 2 hands if you're going to use the rod. You can fusion tack, which is just using the material that's there. However, if you don't have like a perfect fit, the fusion tack won't work. It'll just want to melt the side. So I tried it, it didn't work. I had to enlist Ben's help to tack it while using the filler rod. So once we get a couple tacks on it, he doesn't need to hold it anymore. We can just do it ourselves. We get a few more tacks on it, move on to the next piece. So the next piece is a 45. So this one needs to have the 45, but also tilt up. So we basically need to go up and over with it. So we cut like a 10-degree angle. It doesn't work. It's not enough. It wants to hit the subframe. So then we have to pull it back out, cut it again at a steeper angle. We finally figure out a method to clamp it to the miter gauge, which makes life a lot easier. So then we cut that angle, we get it kind of figured out, we enlist Ben's help again to tack it. This one was a little tricky just because there was some really big gaps because the angle was so big. So it was kind of tough to get good tacks on it. All right, guys, check it out. We are almost there. We got our 45 in. It's a very tight fit in here with everything. It's a little meh fit up because I cut a 15-degree angle, so basically it's like wider than this is with no angle cut, so it's gonna be a little tricky to weld, but I don't think we'll have too much trouble. So then our next one will be come up to about here, then it'll be the 45 and then out to here. And once we can get that, we can get our turn down tip. So basically we just need to figure out how far to leave the leg on the 45 to basically end it up center or close to center. Like I said, I don't know, I really enjoy these projects. I really enjoy TIG welding, I really enjoy fabricating, and I wanted to do this, and I was like, I went back and forth on it because I'm like, you know what, I'm sure I could make like a WRX exhaust fit, and you know, it'll be all right, it'll be good enough, but I don't know, it's just something I wanted to do. And I figured with this car, you know, looking at it from underneath, it's a very easy car to build an exhaust on, so I figured it was a good place to start. I'm definitely gonna need to build more custom exhausts in the future, so might as well learn somehow, right? Learn on an easy one. So let's figure out this last piece, tack it, and then we can weld it all out, which will be real satisfying. So now it's time for our next 45, so we have to cut this one at an angle as well, and then it's going to basically shoot back and center out. So we ended up having to cut the end off because it was pointing up too high. We were able to get some fusion tacks on this one, which is nice because once you get a couple, then you can put some real tacks on it with the filler rod. So then what we've got to do is take this long piece and cut it down at an angle to get it past that pinch weld, basically. So we take it, we clamp it, we cut it at the angle we need, and then we were able to get it up there and get it tacked. So this one was another one where I had to go like 15 degrees, so it's got some big gaps, so I needed Ben's help again to tack it. But again, once we get a couple tacks, we can just tack the rest of the way. So now it is time for the hangers. I had to modify this one and cut it and weld it into a straight hanger to work, and then I used the leftover from the other hanger as our second one, which welds directly to the side of the exhaust. This was a little tricky because it was hot, so every time I go to tack it, Ben's hand would move a little bit and it would move away from the tack, but we eventually got it and we figured it out. Check it out! We are done with the tacking, fitting, cutting phase. So the tips, it is a little offset. I wanted to get it center, but just based on the way I did this, I couldn't really get it center. But we got these two hangers, kind of also jank, but I wanted at least one to be under it or over it, because you can get more weld on it than doing it like this. This one's just kind of like an added measure. But yeah, so tip, 45 down, 45 through here. Nice tight fit, real close to there, real close to there. And it kind of kinks back over, comes down, kinks over, and up to the downpipe. Gonna unbolt it, pull it out, and just weld all these pieces up. And once I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go ahead and mark it now, actually, before I forget. Oh, where's my marker? I done lost my marker. Found it. Basically the top center, so that I can just weld the Pike Cut Tip off the car, so I don't have to like get it all tacked up with everything hanging up here. Oh, this is what it looks like off the car. It's kind of crazy when you see an exhaust off the car and there's all these bends and curves and stuff, and like they make no sense off the car, but when you know where they go on the car, I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, I want to tack everything up a little bit more. Just these top ones I couldn't tack in the car, and then start welding it out. It's mostly straight, so you know, it's not like a crazy bend to it, so it shouldn't be too bad as far as positioning it when you're welding around. Because some stuff, I mean, it is pretty long and cumbersome, so that might make it a little difficult, but some stuff's like crazy annoying. It's like you gotta hold it up on your shoulder, over your shoulder to like weld, and it gets tough. So it doesn't look like it's gonna be too bad, but don't want to jinx myself either. Time for the welding extravaganza. So we just start welding everything out. Like I said, it is kind of tricky. You see, like I have to balance it on the drill and stuff. When you have something long like this with bends, it just kind of gets tough to get all the way around the weld. If it was two straight pieces, super easy, you just rotate them. But this, you got to kind of rotate it and figure out what spot works best, and then kind of lean over sometimes to get above the other side because you can't get it level with you. And it just gets tricky. So now we're doing the V-band, which you always want to clamp the other part of the V-band to it so it doesn't warp. But it's so fun going from like butt joints to the V-band flange because it's like a corner joint and it's way easier to make look nice. So you feel like a freaking pro after doing the hard welds. You do this one and you're like, wow, I actually know what I'm doing. This is pretty cool. Look at this weld. It's very pretty. So now we weld the rest of them out. A couple of these were pretty tough because of those gaps. Basically, it just wants to melt the corner off before you can even get it to puddle. So it was definitely trying, but we made it happen. We got the hangers welded on, which is pretty easy. And then we welded our last difficult 15-degree big gap boy, and we are done with the exhaust itself. So now we are moving on to the Pike Cut Tip. So we cheat a little bit here. We just take a 90-degree bend, cut it into 4 sections, and we're going to use those as our pike cuts. It doesn't need to be any specific angle. It's just the tip. So, you know, this is definitely a way easier way to do it. And we were running low on time, so why not? Once they're cut, it's just time to get them all tacked up. So I'm trying really hard to get them basically as tight of a fit all around as possible because my plan is to fusion weld them. So fusion welding is, like I said, you're not using the filler rod. You're just welding the material together. It works on stuff like this that's not structural. So we're able to fusion weld most of it. As you can see, you don't see me adding any rod. I'm just rotating with my hand and pulsing with my foot for the torch to try to get nice even dimes all the way around. So there were a couple spots where we ended up having to add filler rod. There was just a couple spots that ended up having some decent gaps, and you can't really fusion weld like that because it just wants to melt everything away. So we'd fusion weld as much as we could and then add rod when we have to, and that was pretty much it. Pretty easy, pretty fun thing to weld because it's easy to rotate and not awkward and cumbersome, and you can try to make it look pretty because it's not structural or important. Ta-da! Pike Cut Tip is on and done. It was kind of rough because I think I cut a little too far into the bend. So basically the diameter was smaller, so there's a pretty big gap at the bottom, but we managed to fill it. It looks sweet with all the colors and all that stuff. Man, I'm hyped. It looks really cool. I can't wait to see it in the car. However, I need to go to the store tomorrow and get the turbo studs. There's like 3 studs on the turbo. The rest are missing. All the nuts but 1 are missing. So we need to go get studs and nuts so we can actually properly put the downpipe on with the new gasket and then put the rest of the exhaust on. So we'll pick this back up in the morning, get it all on, see how it looks, see how it sounds. Very hyped. See you guys then. Last step of the process, reinstalling the exhaust. So we get the downpipe up and on and bolted down properly with all the studs, O2 sensor in, etc. And then it's putting our built exhaust on, which went on super easy, which is very satisfying because it means he did a decent job if it all fits up right. Okay, I'm pretty hyped on this. I'm hyped, all right? Check it out. We got the full freaking exhaust on. So I wish this was a little tucked up a little tighter, but any tighter and it hits that. We got a nice fitment down here, like I showed you guys before, but you can take a look at it all. Swelled it up. Boom, boom. Nice welds on the V-bands. Like I said, it's so easy to weld V-bands once you've been welding stuff like this. You get to a V-band and you're like, this is cake. So 2 sensor in and hooked up. I wasn't sure if it was gonna reach, but it does. We got all new hardware on the top there. Everything looks nice and mint. I'm stoked. Oh, I can't wait to start it up. But I had to show you guys first. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's start it up. Should run better because we have a proper fuel pump in it. We have like an aftermarket high volume fuel pump. We have the O2 sensor in. And then obviously we have full exhaust, so we can actually run it for a few minutes and not worry about melting everything. So let's see. I'm hyped. Let's do it. Let's see how it sounds. It's such a shame that this can't be tucked up higher because it looks kind of goofy, but whatever. The real moment of truth is if the battery's dead or not because I didn't unhook it. Runs way better. Like the ow, just stabbed myself in the shin with the bottom of the door. Oh, we can run the AC and see what it's like. Before, all you'd smell is exhaust at the AC. This thing runs! It's like a freaking car right now. It's a car that I can run for more than 30 seconds. This is so hyped. I'm so hyped right now, guys. I know it's silly, but like, this is one of those cars and one of those projects that like almost felt like it was never gonna get done because it was just sitting as a bare shell for months and then like got it done, got it running, and then we're just sitting there with an open turbo and it just that feeling of like it's not a real car, it's not running because I can't drive it, I can't really do anything with it, and now it's got an exhaust. I'm sitting here with the AC on, it's icy. This is dope. You probably can't see me at all because of the lighting, but it doesn't matter because I'm hyped. All right, I'm gonna let this thing run for a minute, let the exhaust color basically, because I cleaned it off, and then maybe we'll go for a drive. Definitely go for a little drive. Got a very large power steering leak that we need to fix. Seems to be running so much better with the air fuel gauge. I'm scared to take it on the street because it's not registered, but I'm gonna go for a quick drive. Coolant temp is up to temp. We let it warm up for a while, coming down to idle nicely. God, this feels so cool. Definitely need a resonator. Burning power steering fluid, so we're going to turn around. And coaster in. Gotta keep the key on so we don't die. Make sure we're not on fire. All right, well, we have a massive power steering leak. We need to fix the rear wheel bearing. We got a couple other things to do, and it's not running 100%. Definitely seems like it's down a cylinder sometimes, like it kind of comes in and out. Like it'll run on 3 and then like clear up and then clear, like get like run back on 3. So we've had that problem since I got the car, so I'm not 100% sure what it is. Have to figure that out, but I'm gonna send the logs to Adam at Cobb, see what he thinks of them, see if he can see anything that he notices that might be causing our issue. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the progress. It has an exhaust, AC works, it runs and drives. It's just got some little last minute stuff to tinker out and figure out and fix. So anyway, that is gonna be it for the Subaru video. We got a lot of prep work to do before Texas on the truck and the Miata, so we gotta get to it. But that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.